.NET Framework is one of the tools that I have in the .NET infrastructures and tools. The major activity of the .NET Framework happens with the help of CLR. So .NET Platform is an environment which helps me to develop and design a lot of web services, scalable services, robust applications. Common language specification is a subclass of CTS. Hello everyone, I welcome all of you to yet another interesting session. In this, I will be discussing one of the important topic, my dear students. So what is that, sir? People would have told you about the word called .NET Framework. So guys, this is going to be very interesting because all of you would have heard about .NET Framework. So because since we are studying .NET programming language, what exactly this .NET Framework is all about is what I will be discussing with all of you in today's session. Let's start without wasting much of your time. So what is the agenda for the day? I will be concentrating on three important things in this session. So first thing, I would like to discuss about .NET Framework. So the second topic which I'm going to discuss is all about benefits of .NET approach, and the last topic is all about C# and the .NET. My dear students, so before I start the session for all of you, so what is the important topic which I will get in this session? So, and also what is the question that I can expect for the exam? So could you please tell that too? Yes, my dear students, you can expect this question. So that's going to be the .NET Framework. You can expect this for 7 marks. Okay. And also there are some subtopics, so which will come in the same topic, so which can be asked for 2 marks or which can be asked for 3 or 4 marks. So which will come in the subcategory, which I will be mentioning in between in the class. So please make a note of it too. All right. So let's start the class and understand what exactly .NET Framework is all about. So crisp, short and neat. Let's start. So guys, before I understand this .NET Framework, I need to tell you something which is very important. So what exactly is that? So I want all of you to please observe the diagram. So observe the diagram here. Here is what I have, the .NET Framework. So .NET Framework is one of the tools that I have in the .NET infrastructures and tools. I repeat, .NET Framework is one of the tools that I have in the .NET infrastructures and tools. Again, so please observe, .NET infrastructure and tools is one of the part in the .NET platform. So that is what you need to understand. So first of all, I have the .NET platform. Before I understand the .NET Framework, I need to understand that there is something called .NET platform. So what is .NET platform then? So .NET platform is an environment which helps me to develop and design a lot of web services, scalable services, robust applications. So guys, so you need to remember the complete thing. If I want to develop any application, so everything is available for me. So that is what I will call it as a .NET platform, is what you need to understand as of now. So fine, sir, what is the meaning of .NET Framework? Let me start the concept from now. Framework in the sense what? Frame in the sense I have some boundary. I have some limitations. So within this, I have everything to develop the application. That is what you need to remember at this point of time. Let us understand this .NET Framework in detail now. Let's start. So guys, the main diagram, so this is what you need to observe. So this is going to be very, very important. You might get a question, write a note on .NET Framework. So you need to start writing this diagram first. Okay, so then you start explaining this. So let's understand what exactly this .NET Framework is all about. As I told you, .NET Framework provides an environment for building. So building, deploying and running web services and other applications. Mainly, if I want to develop any web services or any applications in the sense a software, if I want to develop any software or web services, okay, so that I can do it with the help of .NET Framework is what you need to remember. So fine, I understood that. So what is these three things? So observe these three things. So what is these three things? So please understand, it consists of three different technology. .NET framework consists of three different technology. The first one that I have here is Common Language Runtime. So we call in short it as CLR. What is the technology? First technology that we have? CLR, Common Language Runtime. So what is the second technology that I have? Observe here, framework based classes. The second technology that I have here is framework based classes. And the third one that I have here is user program and interface. So this is the three technology that I have. So fine, I understood. So what is that you understood? So .NET framework is a platform which will help me to develop web services and applications. Applications are in the sense what? Software. That is what you need to remember. So fine, in that framework, what is it I have? I have three things. How many wickets you have in the cricket? So three, right? In the same way, I have three technologies in the framework. So the first one that is CLR. The second one that I have is framework based classes. The third one is all about the user and program interface. So we understood we have three different technology. Let's understand what is CLR and what is framework based classes and what is user and program interface one by one in detail. Before going to that, so let me show you the diagram. So what is the first thing that I have here? So from the bottom, so you have CLR, that is Common Language Runtime. The second one, framework based classes. Third one, when it comes to the interface, we have two different parts is what you need to notice here. So what is the first one that I have? So ASP.NET Web Services and Windows Form, user interface. So that is what you need to notice here. ASP.NET is separate and Windows Form is separate. So that comes in the interface. So this is the framework diagram, what you have in the .NET framework. So fine, let's understand what is the first one that we have, Common Language Runtime. So guys, when it comes to the Common Language Runtime, what exactly this Common Language Runtime is all about. So in this slide, I have just given in a brief, okay? So let me not discuss it here. Let me go to the next slide to discuss it in detail. The same point, I have it here. So guys, what is that I have here? So observe here, Common Language Runtime. When it comes to the Common Language Runtime, it is a heart of C#. So it is a heart of .NET framework, okay? So why do you call it as a heart of a .NET framework? Because it loads and executes the program. The main activity, the major activity of the .NET framework happens with the help of CLR. That is the most important technology that we have. People call the CLR as the soul and the heart of .NET framework. That is the first point that you should remember. So fine. What is the next thing that I have to remember? So please remember, CLR is a runtime environment which programs written in C# and other languages are executed. Mainly, we use the CLR for the execution of the program which is written in any of the language which is supported by the .NET technology. That is what you need to remember at this point of time. So fine. So guys, it also supports the interoperability. So guys, this is one of the major technology which will help me to have the feature called interoperability. I will be able to perform the interoperability. That is what you need to remember. Suppose if I don't have CLR, it will be very difficult to have the interoperability. So fine. So what exactly the CLR is doing? Can you be specific, sir? Yes. List out some of the basic functionality which is done by the CLR. So let's understand one by one in detail. The first functionality of CLR is, as I told you in the beginning, loading and execution of the program. If I want to execute the program, first of all, I have to load it inside the memory. Sir, what is the word that you are using? Loading. So where do you load? You will load it to the lorry? No, I will load it to the memory. So what is the meaning of it? My dear students, if I want to execute anything, I want or I should load that into the memory. What kind of memory, sir? So it should be RAM. Only then I can execute. If I want to execute anything, that thing should be inside the RAM. So who is loading that? Who is taking the responsibility? CLR is taking the responsibility. So fine, it is loaded. Then who is executing? So again, I'm using the CLR for the execution. That is the first point that you need to remember. Moving forward to the next one, memory isolation of applications. Memory, you all know, isolation is in separation of applications. I'll be using different applications. So for each applications, whatever I'm using or I'm developing, so there will be a clear isolation or the separation of memory will be done with the help of CLR is what you need to remember. So fine, moving forward to the next one, verification of type safety. In my previous class, I have discussed in detail about type safety. Type safety in the sense what? I have two objects. Forcefully, this object should not occupy the memory of the another object. So that is what I will call it as a type safety, right? So that verification will be done with the help of CLR. So that is a point that you need to remember. Compilation of IL into a native executable code. So guys, what is the meaning of it? I will write it in my own language. Then after that, it will get converted into intermediate language. Then after that, so it will convert that into the native code. So native code, and then it will execute. So that is done with the help of CLR. So you need to remember intermediate language in the sense what? So do you all remember something which I had discussed? Intermediate language. Yes, in my previous class, of course. So guys, I will write my program in some other language, and that language I cannot understand. So for that reason, what I'm doing is I'm converting that into the IL. IL in the sense intermediate language. Okay. So MSIL. Do you remember Microsoft Intermediate Language? All right. So then after that, I will convert back into the native language, and then I will execute the program. So that is what you need to remember. So who is doing that? Again, CLR is doing that. So fine. Moving forward, providing the metadata, data about the data. So who is giving that? So again, so guys, CLR is giving you the data about the data. So fine. And memory management in the sense what exactly memory management is all about. Imagine I have 1 GB of RAM. So how much should I allocate for this process? How much should I allocate for this application? How much should I remove the memory which I have allocated? So allocation of allocating, deallocating, reallocating, all those things will be done by CLR when it comes to the .NET framework. I'm not speaking with respect to the operating system. Please remember that. Okay. I'm not speaking with respect to the operating system. I'm speaking with respect to the .NET framework. Right. So when it comes to the .NET framework, CLR is responsible for memory management. Moving forward to the next point, enforce security. So you cannot easily tamper the security, and unauthorized access will not be able to do the modifications to the existing code. So it ensures some security level. So that is what it is taken care by the CLR again. And managing the exceptions and errors. So I think all of you would have studied this topic in the Java. So managing the exceptions in the sense, could you please recollect? So 1 divided by 0 error and array out of bound. Okay. So for example, there is no file, but I'm trying to search that file. So that is also an exception, right? And also there is no space, but I'm trying to allocate some data. So all those things are the different exceptions which I will come across. So which I've already studied in Java, correct? Yes. Same thing I will also come across with the .NET platform. So which will be managed by who? CLR. That's what you need to remember. And then last one, support for the task, which is also debugging and also profiling. So that's what you need to remember. So this is the major task which is done by the CLR. You can expect a question. So write a note on CLR for 2 marks. So you need to write out these topics. So when it comes to the CLR, so that's going to be very, very, very important. So they can also ask, mention and explain the .NET framework. And also if they ask the sub component or the sub question, so they can also ask about CLR. In the same way, they will also ask what exactly the execution flow of a C# program. Okay. So guys, generally, .NET programs will get executed in this particular flow. So I just wanted to bring in this in between, okay? So to make you understand how exactly the flow of execution of a C# program, the .NET program will happen. So guys, imagine I have written a C# program, okay? So that program is what I will call it as the code, what I will call it as a source code, okay? So fine, I have typed it. So that is what I will call it as a C# source code. So fine. So after that, that code will be sent to the compiler, okay? So that compiler converts and it will bring it to in the form of IL and metadata. IL in the sense what? Intermediate language. It will convert that whatever the language, high level language into intermediate language along with the data. So that's metadata especially. So with the help of metadata engine, so please observe, so whatever it is required to convert that into IL and metadata. So I will be using the help of metadata engine. So with the help of this, I will be able to convert my high level language program into intermediate language and metadata. That's what you need to remember. So fine. After that, so I will send it to the linker. Okay. What is the meaning of linker? What exactly linker is all about here? Linker in the sense, you need to understand, I have written a program. Okay. I have written a program. So if I need to link anything, because I would have used some of the predefined functions. Okay. So for that, linking should happen, because if I have written sum, okay, sum is one of the function. So sum is one of the function. Let's imagine I have used a function called sum. But how does my program will understand this sum in the sense what the program should do? So for that, I have to link the function where exactly I have defined. So that linking will happen, okay, in this particular stage. So after that, so once my program is linked with all the predefined functions, whatever I have used, so after that, so it will start converting that into a exe code. So if I have the exe code, I can execute anywhere. So that is what you need to remember, okay? So it is an executable file. My file will be in the form of executable form. So I can execute my file. It is an independent file. I don't require any library again. So that is what you need to remember, okay? So fine. So that I will send it to the class loader. So that I will send it to the class loader. So with the help of class loader, I will also link some of the class libraries which is required for that program. All right. So after that, verifier test will happen. Then just-in-time compiler will compile my program. Then it will convert that. This compiler will convert that into native machine code, my program, whatever I had written. So that will get converted with the help of just-in-time compiler. So with the help of that compiler, it will convert that into native machine code, and then so it will send it to the runtime manager and you will get the output. So this is the general flow of C# execution program. So fine. So you got the basic idea. Now I will show you the CTS. There is something called CTS. Am I correct? Yes. So TCS Alva. Isn't it TCS? Have you done any typing mistake? No, it's not any typing mistake. It's CTS. Okay. Again, I have something called CLS. What is this CTS and CLS? In the name itself, you will be able to understand what exactly that CTS is all about. Common Type System. My dear students, I will be using different languages. Okay. So when I'm using the different languages, it does not demand for the type conversion from one type to another type, because I'm using the different languages, right? So obviously, if I'm using Java thing, it will definitely ask me to ask for the type change if I'm using the C programming language. But when it comes to in this platform, so though you are using different languages, okay, so it supports up to around 60 languages, okay, and also it supports the third-party languages, which I will address in the coming slides. But now, though I'm using the different languages, it does not ask for the type conversion. So that is the major job of Common Type System. And also I have common language specification. Common language specification in the sense whenever I use a word called specification, so you have some constraints, you have some rules which I should follow during the conversions. So that is what you need to remember. And this common language specification is a subclass of CTS. So that is what you need to remember at this point of time. So hope you got the basic idea. You can also write a note on common type system and write a note on common language specification for 2 marks. Okay, this is also question papers, question paper setters favorite. So they'll ask for 2 marks. Go through with this topic also, never skip this. All right, moving forward to the next one that I have. So framework based class. Now I'm done with the CLR. The next level which I'm going to explain in the .NET framework. So please just try to remember this diagram. So I'm done with the CLR. Okay. So I have explained what is CLR, and also I have explained what is CDS, and also I have explained CLS. Now I'm trying to explain framework based class. So fine, let's understand what is framework based class. When it comes to the framework based class, my dear students, so this is like a library. Okay, so all my predefined classes, so all my predefined functions, whatever I have stored it in this framework based classes. Base class in the sense what? A super class. Inside this, whatever the class that you need to have, so with respect to the .NET framework, I have stored everything inside this class is what you need to remember. So which I will be using again and again to write the program. So that will help me to make it very simple to write the program. Why? Sir, how do you say that? This framework based class will help you to write the program very easily. So how it is? Because it has got some of the predefined classes. I just have to call that. Everything is stored in this framework based class, which is most of the things. So everything in the sense, do you have everything? No, I cannot say that everything. But can you be specific? What exactly that you have in this framework based class, which will help me to write my program? Yes, of course, I will help you. So let's discuss one by one. So observe, this is what I have in the framework based class. So guys, if you want to deal anything with respect to the input and output operation, yes, I have the class for that. So if you want to do anything with respect to the strings, a group of characters, okay, so you have the class here. And if you want to manage anything with respect to the arrays, list, maps, for that also I have a class. In the same way, I have files, and I have register, security, windowing, drawing, database management, and many more. It's a vast library, you can just imagine. Everything is stored in the framework based class is what I would like to tell you at this point of time. You can just reuse it. You can call whatever you wanted to use. And also some of the programs with respect to the networks, also you can find it in this framework based class is what you need to remember at this point of time. Moving forward to the next one. So hope you understood the first one, that is CLR. Second one is framework based class, and the top layer, which is user interface, is what I'm trying to explain now. When it comes to the user interface, we had 2 things. One is Windows Form, another one is, come on, what is that we have? ASP.NET, okay, web services, right? So let's understand. So guys, when it comes to the user and program interface, what is that I have here? So please observe, the .NET framework supports some of the tools. So for managing user application interface in the sense what you see, which comes in between you and the backend program. So guys, there are some of the tools which will help me. So such are we have Windows Forms, Web Forms, console applications in the sense whenever you run the C program, how you will be getting a black screen. The same way, you will also have the console applications in C#. You can write a program and you can execute it, which you will be able to see in the black screen. So I will call it as a console applications, and we have some of the web services. So all these things are the tools that I have to manage the interface. So fine, which will also help me to develop some web services and also some desktop applications. That's what you need to understand and remember. So fine, moving forward to the next topic that I have. What is the different languages? You have been saying that .NET framework supports multiple languages, a lot of languages. Yes, it supports a lot of languages. Some of the people were saying, I remember reading that .NET programming language supports nearly 60 different languages. That's what I read somewhere, but I'm not sure. But of course, yes, it supports most of the programming language. So I have listed out some of the languages which is supported by the .NET framework. So that is C#, Visual Basics, C++, JavaScripts. And also it supports some of the third-party languages. So like, COBOL, Perl, Mercury, Python, and also Smalltalk. So this is the different languages that you will come across with respect to the .NET framework is what I would like to tell you at this point of time. Moving forward to the next topic, that's going to be the benefits of the .NET approach. What exactly the benefit that I will get if I follow the .NET approach? The point number one that I have, simple and faster system development. It's very, very simple. It's not so complicated because we have eliminated a lot of topics like, pointers, a lot of things we have eliminated here. That's why it is very simple. And rich object model, completely they have included the concepts of classes and objects. That's why it is very simple and easy. Again, it is rich in object model. And then enhanced built-in functionality. As I discussed in the framework-based class, you will have a lot of predefined classes. That's one of the advantage that we have if we are using the .NET approach. And the next one, many different ways to communicate with the outside world. And also it supports the cross-platform. Say for example, front-end, you will design it in Java, and back-end, so you can do it with any other technology. So guys, that's what I call it as a cross-platform. Okay, so that's also supported. The next one is integration of different languages into one platform. So that's what we have discussed in the previous slide. So it supports multiple languages in just one platform. That's one of the advantage. Easy deployment and execution, of course, and wide range of scalability. Scalability in the sense capacity. So it has got a wide range of capacity is what you need to remember. And then interoperability of existing application. So I have two applications. So between this, the communication and exchange of information is possible is what they are trying to say. And then simple and easy to build a sophisticated development tools. It is not only helping me to develop in applications, which will also help me to develop the tools which helps to develop the applications. So that is a major thing that you need to notice it here. All right, so fine. And fewer bugs, not too very complicated, and you don't have to, you will not have much bugs, much difficulty to try to debug the bugs. You have very few bugs. Potential to better performance is the last thing that I have. Right, so this is the major advantage that we have. If we are asking the benefits, what do I have if I use .NET? All right, so fine. Moving forward to the last topic that I have, C# and the .NET. C# is one of the new programming language introduced with the .NET. Okay, so that's our first thing that you need to understand. And the next one, it is concise, elegant .NET language. Obviously, there is no new thing that you need to thing, and it in many respects it is version of the .NET object model. It's what they're trying to say is it's again a version of .NET object model is what they're trying to tell you. All right, so fine. Along with that, C# developer can quickly implement the applications and components using the built-in capability of .NET framework. Whatever I have in the .NET framework, I can just use it and I can just build the application with the help of C#. So that is what they are trying to say in the third point. So fine, the C# code is managed by CLR. It becomes a learner and safer than C#. So that's what they are trying to say. And the most important thing that you need to observe here is interoperable. All right, C# is interoperability. Interoperability is there with other languages. Yes. And then enhanced security, version support, debugging support, automatic garbage collection. Automatic garbage collection in the sense automatically it will collect the memories which is not used. So that's what you need to remember. XML support for web-based application. So all these things are the features that I have in the beautiful language that I have in the C#. So, sir, you're speaking a lot about C#. Can you show me a program how exactly it looks like in C#? Yes, I will be discussing that. All this point, I did not stress much, correct? Yes, reason is there, okay? I will be discussing each point with the program in the coming sessions with all of you. All right, so till then, happy learning. Take care. Bye-bye.